Talk about your pitching staff this season.
They've been very resilient. It's been the first time in a long time I can remember we got a number 1 and a number 2. You know, Aaron Solis and Peyton Snyder. Aaron has been pretty consistent for us all year. And Peyton has done everything. You know, Peyton has started. He's been first out the pen. He's been short matchup. He's been a closer. And I think he started the season off 0-5. But he had some really good appearances. And now he's finally settled in, and he's hit his groove. And you know, anytime we see him pitching, we know we're going to get probably 12 or 13 ground balls, and so that's kind of what you want, you know, number 1 and number 2. We have to figure some things out a little bit with our number 3 guy, but we're definitely pitching better. Over the last 3 weeks, we cut down on walks. We like 67% on first pitch strikes. You know, we're getting the first out of the inning. So those are championship things that we're doing from the pitching staff.
Most people that don't follow baseball on a regular basis, especially college baseball, kind of explain in a layman's term what it means to have Friday pitcher, a Friday pitcher.
Well, it means a lot, you know, because that's the guy that you're going to carry into the tournament. You make it to the tournament, you know. Your Friday night guy, he got to be the guy because it's easier for the number 2 guy to piggyback off him. And so that Friday night guy, that's the guy that we want to give our team confidence. And so, you know, we started out with Furlong, and then we went to Villanueva. And then so third time being a charm, you know, we end up getting Aaron, and Aaron seems to be a lock for us. He's done a tremendous job over the last 3 weeks. He didn't get the win in Pine Bluff, but he didn't pitch particularly bad. You know, I think he had 6 innings or so and gave up 4 runs. But we beat ourselves in that game. But he bounced back yesterday, and he pitched an extremely good ball game. So Friday night pitching is everything. Well, at least we know we're going into the tournament with a number 1.
The other thing, how many games did you get a complete game out of this group, or close to it as possible?
I mean, from a pitching standpoint,
yeah, from your pitching.
Aaron is up there in the top 50 in complete games. You know, I want to say Aaron probably had 4 complete games, 3 or 4 at least, because you know it's very difficult to do this day and time because of the pitch count, etc., etc.
Right.
But Aaron is very efficient. You know, Aaron has had ball games where he had the 7-inning game down in Prairie View.
Right, I remember that.
He had 59 pitches in like 7 innings. So, you know, that's efficient. and that's pitching, you know.
That's better than efficient.
Somebody's going to attack, you know. So he's very efficient. I like him because he works really well on the outside part of the plate. And he's a first pitch strike guy, you know, and he lets his defense work. He don't try to strike out everybody. Another person I want to mention is Chris Suarez. Chris has done an extremely great job for us as a closer. He's been in some really tough situations with a guy on third, guy second, third base, and he's been able to pitch out of it. But I got to give all the credit to the pitchers to Rick Arapaho. Rick Arapaho is probably our unsung hero, the catcher, because you know whenever you got a catcher coach on the field, you know it helps a lot. It really helps a lot.
I was going to phase into that because I remember the year when Rice won that national championship. The one thing that Coach Graham talked about on a regular basis, he had an everyday catcher that could catch everybody on the staff, didn't matter who it was and could call a game.
Yeah, it's very important, a guy that can handle those 9 or 10 guys, keep the ball off the backstop, stop the running game, and Ricky has done that, you know, and he's very smart. He pays attention to everything, and he can call his own game. You know, we help him over here. But most of the time, it's like a give and take between him and Charles. You know, Charles was our catcher last year. I always said that catchers make best pitching coaches. And we've really turned it on in the second half of the season. I want to say the second half, where did we go? 9-3 or something, you know, 10-2. You know, we hadn't lost many games in the second half of the season. So, all in all, our kids have been very resilient. There's been a lot of adversity that they've been faced with today. This was a great weekend. I mean, a really great weekend, because that's a tough ball club. And these are the 2 best teams. And we were able to win, with all the adversity that we got going on, we was able to win 2 out of 3 ball games. So, you know, it's still a successful weekend, very successful season. And we got a lot to look forward to going into the tournament. We got a lot accomplished. We really did.
Talk about that. Going into the tournament, number 1 seed. What? Not so much what's the expectations, but what goals just from your point of what you see as a
man, just really to keep our guys focused, and then you know find a way to stay sharp over these next 8 days. You know, help them to see things that they're gonna need to see when they're in a tournament, because when you're number 1 seed, everybody's shooting for you. You know, you got a big X on your back, and so we're gonna pay attention to details. But this time, we're gonna they're gonna have to co-join with the coaching staff, because we got so many older guys now, and they're very smart, you know. And so we're trying to, you know, get them to play more team baseball, because we've had a lot of individual accolades, but it was because of the team concept, because we really flourish as a team. But you know, being a #1 seed, we understand that, you know, it's a brand new season. That's the main thing we need to get over to them, is that we're not going to look past our first round opponent, even though we're playing the 4th seed. I think that's the biggest thing. You know, you want to win that first game. So that's what it is for me, just making sure they're in the right mindset that they need to be in over these next eight days or so before we play.
Is there anything else that I hadn't asked about today concerning the team? Any unsung hero? Well, I know what I hadn't talked about.
Kamren Dukes, you know, his hit streak continued, 34 games. We got to talk about him because he's had one of those breakout seasons. He broke the hit record Friday night. He continued his hit streak, 34, which is the nation's best. And we're just hoping that he get his name on every nomination, because he deserves it, you know. So we're just waiting to see what all his name will come up in. And then Christian Sanchez had 16, 17 home runs this year. So at the beginning of the day, he was like number 16, and Dukes was like number 6 in hits this year. And his batting average, he's been flirting with 40 all year long. And the champion is not far. Champion Luke, our second baseman, is not far behind. So we've had a lot of individual success, but it's basically part of what we've been able to accomplish as a team. But we gotta, you know, talk about Kamren, because he's had one of the best seasons of any college ball player.
The other thing is this senior group, large senior group. What did they bring just from the start of the season up until this point? You know,
since the time they got in their leadership, since the time that they've been there, their leadership has been insurmountable. And so that's what makes this day so special, because those guys came, I want to say, as close to doing the thing, you know, and doing everything right that you would like to see your recruits and your student athletes come in and do. They were close. They academia, they work hard, you know. I can't remember like any you know, violations or anything from any of them that I've had to deal with. And that's the great thing, you know. They all led by example in their own individual way, but they've done this collectively as a group, and that's what makes them so special. And again, this group, the ones that came in, Blake, Sad, Dukes, and LeBlanc, they played in 3 straight championships. So they shooting for the 4th. And then we got some guys, and then most of the guys on the roster this year, they won the championship last year.
Yeah.
You know, so we all in all, they're still overachievers. But we're sitting in a good place, you know, as long as we can remain focused and avoid any distractions.
Well, with that, Coach, I'm going to let you head off to your first family and your second family here. Okay. It's been a good weekend watching you guys play. All I can say is good luck to the upcoming tournament and conference tournament, and I hope you get into the NC2As. And with that, reintroduce yourself and we'll close this out.
Micheal Robertson, head baseball coach at Texas Southern University.
This is Jerry Lee Woodley Jr., the College Sports Report, reporting here at McGregor Park, Houston, Texas. Final score of Grambling 7, TSU 5. TSU comes up the big winner. They are the #1 seed and the Western Division champions of the SWAC, Southwest Athletic Conference. Thank you, sir.
All right, appreciate it.